I stopped watching TV news channels long ago, and many of my friends also don't watch it. But there are many people who are watching it. And just like match fixing, there is TRP fixing going on. So, what is this TRP fixing? Hello everyone,
I'm Rahul Devdar.
I am Prasanna Naidu, and you are listening to the RightVIEWS podcast. So, what is this TRP fixing? First, let's get into what is TRP. So, Rahul sir, can you just explain us what is this TRP and why is it so important for TV news channels or TV channels in general?
Yeah, actually, TRPs, it stands for television rating points. So this actually measures how many people are watching a particular program and what is the viewership. So that determines what is the viewership of that program. So to determine that, it is important to know what people are watching so that advertisers can sort of book the relevant spots in these programs, and that drives the whole business model for the channels.
For example, there is a half an hour serial in which 15 minutes the serial is there and 15 minutes advertisements we watch.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, in most cases, in a let's say 60-minute program, you have content of maximum 35 minutes, and the rest is covered by ads under various
Form.
headings.
Yeah.
So there is intro ads. There are ads which are shown which cover almost the viewing area while the program is going on, and all sorts of things included. So these
And also if it's a Sahasbahu type of serial, then half of the time is covered in various camera angles like zoom, dum, dadan, dadan, dum, dum.
yes, that is a viewer. That is a torment of our eyes, and probably sometimes we might need sunglasses to watch some of these bright serials.
And
So
some of
that
this, like even some news channels follow this kind of video, like
over the top, yes, yes.
yeah,
I don't know if you have seen the tornado in the studio storm, and in the studio they create a tornado and they create flooding in the studio just to create or catch viewers. But
yeah, like
the
in the
whole
10 साल में मुंबई होगी पानी में or something like that.
yes, exactly. So the whole idea of that is basically to catch viewers and to sort of make them, engaged in the program. And when they are engaged in the program, those slots for which, like for example, cricket matches, particularly World Cup matches, people are always watching. So those the ads within those matches, they go for a higher amount, and that is what is critical to understand, that which programs are being watched on which channels. So in old times, we had only two channels, DD1 and DD2. Now, if you have only two channels, by nature of program, you will know who is watching what program, and you can select and push your ad into one of those two programs. But with advent of cable TV and proliferation of channels, we have now thousands of channels, and each of these channels, there are people watching. So where to put your ad? That is the question advertisers are asking. So TRP is a mechanism that tells advertisers that this program has a higher rating amongst people that I want to target. Let's say I'm selling a 20 lakh car. So I want people who can afford 20 lakh car. I don't want people who, can afford only, let's say, a Maruti 800. So where are those people? What are they watching? Are they watching maybe stock market channels or those kinds of channels? Or are they watching English channels? Are they watching premium Hindi channels? So that question becomes very important, and that determines where you are going to place the ad.
To find your target audience to target them with a particular ad. This is the thing. Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is that India is such a 1.3 billion. It is like, one sixth the world population almost. Okay. So how do you measure this? So what they have done is they have an association called BARC, which is not to be confused with the Atomic Research Center. And there's the world of difference between them. But this BARC, they run something called as meters. Okay, now these they are called barometers, if I'm not wrong, and these are meters which help. There are about 45,000 meters are there. They are placed with the family, so just like a set-top box, and these meters detect what channel you are watching for how long and what is playing on that channel. So to a certain extent, what is playing is known, but what are the channels that you are watching and what is being broadcast at that time. So time of the day, what program, how long you have watched, all these things are measured by these meters.
Also, who is watching? Like, what is the age of the person who is watching a particular channel? Even
Correct.
that is covered in.
That cannot be covered. What they do is, while placing these meters with your family, or they have classified Indian consumer into, as per the original classification, it was called the socio-economic classification, which is SEC, they used to call it. So SEC A is the really affluent people, SEC B, SEC C, and this kind of classification was there. So you put meters in the affluent households. Now they have affluent households. When you put the meter, you know what kind of age profile they have and what kind of household size they have, what kind of income they have, and based on that you put the meter. Okay. Now second part is that they cannot determine if actually you're seeing or watching what is being done. So for example, if the TV is just on and there's nobody in the room, they don't have a camera to check whether there is anyone in the room or those kinds of things. So what they are able to track is TV on and is it showing a particular channel, and is it for how long, that is being measured.
Yeah, so what I can do is, if that's placed in my house, I switch on the TV and go in some park to jog or go somewhere to work, and then come at night and still the TV will be on. So in their records, it will be like that particular channel was viewed by me for around 8-10 hours, right?
8-10 hours, yes, of course, that's how it is. But there are of course mechanisms to check this. So there are algorithms to check this. For example, there are always programs which nobody watches, and it is known that these programs are really not watched. I mean, the chance of change in a behavior is not, you can notice it. Behavior is always pattern. Okay, so if you sort of train the algorithm, you can find out whether someone is fudging the data, that is the TV is on by mistake full day. Okay, it's possible, right? So if you're watching, let's say it's a sports channel, okay, and the sports channel, the broadcast stops, assume, okay, broadcast stops at 11 o'clock, but still the channel is playing and your meter is capturing that the channel is still on, but there is no broadcast. So then you know that the TV is being accidentally left on. So those kinds of algorithmic tricks can be used to identify. But
are we sure that these people are using these algorithms?
Very good question. That the advertisers have to make sure. But it is possible. What I'm saying is that it is possible to analyze data in depth. However, when you are making a leap based on 45,000 meters, this BARC has 45,000 meters all across the country.
Yeah, what's the logic behind this figure?
So basically, this comes from statistical sampling survey, which is the technique that people follow. So, for example, if I want to survey the population and want to know whether my product will be successful, so I cannot go and ask everyone whether my product will be successful. So what I do is I classify the population into samples. So this statistically relevant sample is then you use market research to test your sample on this statistically relevant sample size. Now, statistically relevant sample size is for a population is the same. So, for example, 1.3 billion people are there. If you want to gauge who will win in Lok Sabha, where 1.3 billion people vote, then the sample size will be the same as what sample size you will want to know when 1.3 billion people, what do they watch. So sampling technique, you can have a little bit of difference in sampling techniques, but essentially the size will come out to be the same. And it is definitely not 45,000. It is definitely more than 45,000. Okay. I cannot say how large it will be because it depends on what kind of information do you want, at what granularity. For example, if you want to see like this Indian population, they have classified into SEC-A, SEC-B, SEC-C, this kind of bracketing. Now that bracketing has changed and it is now new consumer classification system, or it's called new SEC. But the idea is the same: affluent families, less affluent, higher middle class families, middle class families, poor families. This classification in some way is there. Now you want to know higher income, you want to know more details. Okay. Like for example, what do they watch on weekends? So the sample has to be substantially or statistically relevant even at the SEC-A level. Now if you want to know what is the preference of people in Maharashtra versus what is the preference of people in, let's say, Andhra or Kerala or Orissa or Tamil Nadu, then at each state level it has to be statistically relevant. Okay. Now if you want to go more granular like in district, then you have to have district level statistically relevant sample size across all these SEC A, B, C. So geographically statistically relevant. Then let's say if you want to search, like let's say if you want to track whether business news or financial market news, who is watching. Okay, so that is a sort of a one way of looking at people. Now amongst them, SEC-A in Gujarat, SEC-A in Rajasthan, SEC-A in Punjab, SEC-A in Kashmir, all have to be statistically relevant for their own states. And MP, every bit you want to say how many are from Indore, then that has to be statistically relevant for Indore. So 45,000 clearly in this whole analytical game is not enough. But that is how they set it up. So there is a meter which sits in with your TV like set-top box, and they monitor it, and whatever runs on your TV, hopefully you're watching that, and that decides who advertisers will pay, which channel they will go to advertise.
Maybe I think I am not sure about it. When was BARC formed or so? If it was formed really very early, so they would have decided that figure according to the population at that time and all, and that is not changed till now as it is.
No, this BRC, I think this TAM ratings and that was earlier, that was there. But all these things have you have to revise because otherwise they become irrelevant. And
yeah, exactly.
This is not the television tracking TRPs are not old, because earlier you have only one channel. That too you know what is going on. And you know that Ramayana everyone is going to watch. And then there were no such ad breaks like every 10 seconds there is an ad break. But so that time it was not really relevant.
The most irritating one is at the end, before the climax. 5 minutes are remaining for a movie or serial, and then there is a huge ad around 10 minutes or so.
Exactly. And then they will show this, continued next time. Okay, one sample screen. So that's all the hooks that they use. But basically, the point is that this all started after in 91 when cable news came in a big way. So till that time it was not a big deal because you always had only two channels, and whatever you want to do, you have to do with that only.
So let's get into this TRP fixing thing. So it's in the news now that the complaints have been filed against a few news channels, and the allegations are that these news channels used to bribe the families uh, who have these like barometers set up in their house, and all these algorithms and tracking is going on from their what they view, and they were bribed to watch a particular channel. And there were also cases. Now this is not the first complaint or so. Now it is getting amplified because of various other reasons, but such complaints have been filed many times before too, and against different channels. So allegations are same, and there are also allegations the complaints like the local cable operators are involved in this. They are also getting bribed, or there are other interests. Uh, like for example, there is a concept called landing pages or landing channels. Landing pages is more relevant to websites and all web designing. So in this, it's what it happens is when you switch on a TV, directly that channel will appear, which is projected by
On
that local
exactly.
operator.
Yes. What they do is, see, first of all, you have to realize that the entire whatever billions of rupees, trillions of rupees of advertising, the largest part is television advertising. Okay, amongst all advertising media. So web advertising is not as high as anything as we expect. Print advertising is definitely there, but it is not in terms of size. It is not as big as television advertising.
Exactly, and print media is day by day, reducing. So
Yes, and when you have that kind of money riding on the opinion of or habits of 45,000 people, it is natural that people who are interested will try to bribe them. It happens in all fields. In movie reviews, you can see some reviewers give good reviews to a movie which is completely crappy because their review people follow their reviews. Okay, now this is a game that where the reviewer, if he wants to compromise his integrity, then people will stop following him. Here there is no such stop following them. They are the only game in town. So basically, whatever you do, it is the BARC whose meters you are going to trust. Now they have 45,000 meters, and that's all for the whole 1.3 billion. Good for you. If they had only 1 meter, guess everyone would be trying to bribe that fellow. Okay. So the lesser the number, the more the chance of bribery. If you had 1 million meters, they would not be able to bribe anyone because that the cost of bribing becomes high. Okay. Probably, a lot of fault lies with BRC only, that the whole revenue, which is advertising revenue of television, is dependent on the tastes and watching habits of 45,000 families, is an incentive enough for creating this kind of notorious bribing incidents. And naturally, this bribing has been happening over, a long period of time. It's not that this is the first bribing. So it's definitely there is a chance.
yeah, and BARC is supposed to keep this quote unquote secret, right? So how, I don't know, these so people from BARC may also be involved in this, right? Otherwise, how would the data be out?
Exactly. See, first of all, the person who is having these meters, doesn't he have the incentive to go around telling people that I have a meter? Secondly, your national secrets are not, your new aircraft design is not secret. You think TAM meters and your barometers are going to be secret? Who has this? So secrecy is not really there. Okay, and on top of it, they outsource the setting up of these to some agency. So you get, people are worried about Aadhaar secrecy. Okay. And so you can imagine, so secrecy is not going to be there. That you can, yes, there will be some sort of
Mechanism to not get it out, but
to get it out, but the people who want to know will definitely know. So that is not a big deal. So one reason is that the 45,000 number is itself too low, and that is a chance or there is an incentive for people to bribe and get their ratings up. Secondly, it's not secret. That is what you rightly pointed out. And third, you imagine that these are not a very effective means of understanding habits. So, what is the point of having these kinds of ratings where everything can be, quickly or easily purged by just leaving the TV on, and then you will have the rating that this person watches, I don't know, whichever channel you pick, Republic TV or India Today or whatever, 24/7. You can't, a normal sane person cannot stand watching this for 15 minutes. So, I mean,
No, sir. Yeah, you are wrong. Okay, Republic TV is watched by many people. I just checked the BARC website, and both the Republic TV channel, the English news channel and the Hindi news channel, are on top of the list. And
no, it could be. See, for example, what I'm saying is that this is not just that, but those kinds of fudging is possible. That these people, and you can also find incentives. Like, for example, you bribe the cable TV sort of cable network cable guy, local cable guy, and say, don't show this program, don't show this channel. So Republic channel, let's say India Today has control of that cable TV guy. So he switches off Republic TV. His Republic TV नहीं दिखेगा 2 दिन. Okay. India Today देखो. Something like that. And that sort of things can also happen. Like you said, landing channel is like, if you don't have channels, like, you remember just before the IPL started, 2007 or 8, I don't remember. That whole channel itself was missing. It was, I think, Sony. Sony used to broadcast IPL initially. So that Sony went missing, and then there was some negotiation, and then whatever. That was because of cable charges. But yes, cable TVs control a lot of viewership by their behavior, and it's possible that you can bribe them. So it's possible to create all these kinds of nonsense.
okay, so how can this measurement system be improved? Like, any ideas you have?
I mean, when I was thinking about this, I really thought that, simply speaking, if you take your DTH operators, they have a set-top box like Tata Sky or Airtel TV and those kinds of DTH operators across the country. They have millions of set-top boxes. Okay. Now, when the signal comes to set-top box, it's possible to make a set-top box with a chip that tells you which channel is being played, because the remote control is digital. So it switches the channel based on your signal, and it can be recorded, put a SIM card and relay that data to a server, and you will have millions of these installations. And people, based on your consumer profile of these people, you can really track what is being watched and what is not being watched. So
Exactly.
that is a simpler way, and of course you can put in restrictions as to whether you want to share that data or not. If you want to share, you get some, let's say Tata Sky is free for you because you're sharing that data, and that you have to also share what kind of family background and all these survey details you have to share. I'm sure people will be happy to share this information and get some discount on their cable channel subscription. And once you get that information, then good for you. You will get millions of data points, not just like 45,000 data points which you keep slicing and dicing. You will get real actual data, and it's impossible to bribe some 10 million subscribers of Tata Sky or these guys. And then that is a much easier and much saner way. And of course, then you will have a genuine advertising market, because advertisers will actually pay for content which is being watched, which is genuinely good, which people are really watching, not this fudged content. Some people shouting are getting views or not getting views. I don't know. We will know it for sure if you have the widespread usage.
Yeah, exactly. Like a country where the population, as you said, is 1.2 billion, and obviously everyone doesn't have access to a television. But even if we consider these DTH operators like Tata Sky, Dish TV, and all, the number is in millions, and these are these people are only considering 45,000 families, and this is a simple solution. Like, I think you just would have thought for a while, around 5 minutes or so, and this solution would have come to your mind. It's not something.
No, it is, and in fact, we have set-top boxes installed, and every 2 years, the Tata Sky guy tells me, you need to upgrade your set-top. Now it is HD set-top box, it is 4D, 4K set-top box, whatnot. I mean, they can upgrade it and make my cost a little lower, and then I'll be
Yeah.
happy to, share that information.
Now, also, first of all, they are considering only 45,000, which is very low. And on top of that, there are certain types of channels. For example, English channels, okay, or English news channels. You won't find the majority of the population of India watching those channels. Okay, there are certain category of people, only those people watch. And when you are tracking such less people, and in that, for example, if we consider 100 people are watching certain news channels, out of that only 5 people watch English news channels. Okay, and out of 5 people, if those 5 people are bribed and they are watching a particular news channel only, then it will be like all 100 people are watching that English news channel for that particular. Right. So when the what do you say?
Yes, you are right. You are extrapolating 1.2 billion people's habits based on this sliced and diced data, which is like coming to very small fraction of the 45,000. That's what you are meaning. Out of 45,000, only maybe 5,000 watch English news channel. And out of those 5,000 families which watch English news channel, there will be like a spread. So even if you take 5,000 families are watching only one channel, which is, let's say, India Today TV or Republic TV or whatever you want to, NDTV for all they're watching just one channel. Okay. That doesn't mean that all the affluent or whatever English news channel watching people in the country will watch that, because its 5,000 number is so small. But that's how it is. Sampling it. If you actually do it scientifically, sampling works very well. But the way news channels themselves do it, when poll comes, they just, whether this candidate will win or not, they just go down their office and on the street they ask the first 10 people that they meet, and then they say 8 are saying he will win. So 80% is the win probability. That's not how it is calculated. You have to, design the sample properly and make sure that there is scientifically valid sample size that you are dealing with. So clearly 45,000 doesn't cut it. So that is basically ignorance. And it could be because these meters are very difficult. And what they do is, they have I think they have some video encoding also done. And they have also done some audio encoding, which is captured by these meters to understand whether this particular channel is being played or not. So for example, you include, particular voice signature, which is inaudible to human ears, but those are included. And then the meter captures that because it's looking for those signatures. And then that tells you which channel is being played and which channel is, how long it is played. So that is the technology. But why to do all these things when you have a simpler thing that, through the Tata Sky set-top box chip, you will know what channel is being watched at what time. The programming is fixed already. It's not like, Tata Sky was, whatever, Star Sports was showing India-Pakistan match, but now it is showing, Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka match. It's not going to happen that way. Whatever they're showing, you will know it.
And in this game, big losers are also advertisers. So what do you think they must do, and why are they not doing that?
I think, it's a very important question, and advertisers need to push for this. You're absolutely right, because they are spending the money. And again, if you see, a few advertisers control a lot of ad spend through BARC metrics and whatever. Again, if you see 45,000 people cannot be trusted, why do you think these few advertising executives who are channeling billions and trillions of dollars are being trusted, and they are so, above, that their integrity is above reproachment, that they will definitely, make a decision in that. There must be some corruption there also. If we look, there will be some corruption going on there too.
Will a online market system work here for advertisers and all?
So actually, my suggestion is that, advertisers, like, we have Google metrics for websites, AdSense and all these kinds of things, which really targetedly measure everything about a website. Which pages are getting more views, which pages are, everything you want to know, you will get through Google metrics. Similarly, you have these barometers through Tata Sky and all. You will get detailed metrics, and each slot then you can put up for auction. Like on a website, like, this is basically advertisers' way of buying ad spots. So you make that this is the ad spot available at 8 a.m. on Republic TV and 8 a.m. on India Today, and this data is available through, Tata Sky and all these set-top boxes coming together, and they will then decide which to bid for. And that will be a very transparent mechanism, and it will create more jobs also, because analyzing this data, placing ads, so you're placing trillions of rupees worth of ads. So they need proper analysts to where to put ads, and definitely not enough people are analyzing this. I'm sure you can channel it much more with a more logical decision making metrics.
And this similar system is like social media platforms. On social media platforms, a similar system is being followed, like Google Ads and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a basic premise that, you in Google you are bidding for a slot on a particular metric. They can adjust it. Here you have a certainty that if I buy this particular Saas Bahu serial just before the ending, like you said, I will get that spot because now I have booked it and it cost me 10 lakh rupees. But the flip side again here is, then you can know that which channel is making how much money. And that opens another Pandora's box, because many of these channels are actually not completely, financially independent. They have some vested interest financing them. Some are being, some are vehicles for money laundering. And there are lots of, interesting things going on there. So if you have a transparent advertising system like social media or internet advertising system, a market, online market, where even if I have money, I want to say, like RightVIEWS podcast should be seen, and there is a slot on some channel which, is affordable for us, we will also be happily putting up that. But today it is not possible. Because that information is not very widely available.
Also, our affordability is not there now.
That is you might not believe what kind of actual prices these ads go for, because there are 1,000 channels. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I have run these ads on Facebook and also YouTube. So it depends on various things, and you can get a slot or particular, if you target a metric, then it can be very low. So even people who can't afford like very big channels or so, they can advertise in some other channel similar to that channel, something like that.
Exactly. And you can change your advertising campaign parameters. So you will not get 10 ads like every like a cricket match, every break there is a Pepsi or Coke ad. You will not get that kind of ad, but you will definitely get one. Like let's say, in the whole 5.5 hour match, 1 day match, you will get one slot, and that could be affordable just after the toss maybe. maybe before the toss or whatever, where there's not much traffic, and after the toss the whole game starts. So all these parameters, like on Google or YouTube or these channels, you can make out when is the most costly spot. So most costly spot is at 8 o'clock. Then we can't have our ad at 8 o'clock. Maybe we'll have it at 7:55, or we can adjust. I mean, there are lots of people who would like to advertise, and they can adjust depending on what they want to buy.
Yeah, I think that this is the solution to it. Like, advertisers must push for it. Like, they must start a kind of a campaign or movement to bring this change. And I think
they should create this online market that we are suggesting. They should give us pay us some premium for this idea, and this online market where they can buy and sell ad slots. Suppose I buy an ad slot and I don't want to use it. I can sell it. I can auction it again, and all these things are possible, and it will open out a lot of opportunities for variety of advertisers, not just these 5, like Hindustan Unilever, P&G, Colgate. Only 5-6 are dominant advertisers. Now they will also get competition from all these other players. Okay, and that will really drive the advantage. For channels, they will get more money, except that it will be transparent. So if you are not making money, it will also be known that this is a loser channel. That is also there, but at least whatever it is, it will be out in the open, and advertisers will get the best bang for their buck. So online marketplace is the way to go, and the metrics they can track using Tata Sky and this DTH provider set-top box.
Okay, yeah. So this could be a good solution. So guys, what do you all think? Is there a better solution you have? If you have that, then please share this podcast episode on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or wherever you can, and tag us @RightVIEWS, and also tag other brands and big advertising companies and all, so that they come to know about this, and maybe our idea gets picked up and it is implemented.
And also let them know that they have to pay us for this idea.
Yeah. So obviously, if they use this idea, then they must pay, or else there can be IPR issues. So this is kind of a declaration bias that. Okay, cool. Okay, so join us for the next episode. You can follow us here on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, or wherever you are listening to this podcast on. And thank you for listening to this podcast.
Thank you.